CaneRod pipes for two, full pipe love is the place for you if you like pipes and chatting, and especially if you being merry and is hotter than ginger. CaneRod pipes for two, full pipe love is the place for you if you like pipes and chatting, and especially if you being merry and is hotter than ginger.
Hello friends, happy Friday. Yes, by popular demand, or perhaps unpopular demand, I stuck that in there. I hope you appreciate that, person who I will not name. How are we doing tonight, guys? Great to see so many folks already here, and it's Friday. That's a good thing. Got the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli filled with Haunted Bookshop, as is tradition, and I just started to get that going. And let's see who we have so far assembled. There's my buddy Voodoo07. Good to see you tonight. Rick Spence, Puny Pipe Man, the Mad Piper, Lord Hogarth, Mushroom Leg. Hope you're happy, buddy. Michael Case, how you doing, Michael? Sunny in Western Oregon. Pirate Cake at a full bent. Sounds good. Steve Russell. Gary Edminster. Yes, Tim does make some nice pipes. There's Hillbilly Piper. Good to see you, Donnie. Todd Monson. Bona Piper. Nice to see you, Christian. Pipe Ninja. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you tonight. I'm glad you liked it, Jeffrey Feinberg. Robert Miller, good to see you, Robert. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island, and there's Big Dave. So fantastic. And Armchair Piper, how you doing, Ed? Good to see you tonight. So, like I said, I just got the first light on this. Well, it's been a good week actually. I can't complain about work this week like I usually do. It's been a relatively good week. Uh, got some unfortunate news today at work. A good friend of mine, somebody that I've worked with over the years and have become fairly good friends with, is actually leaving the company to take a position somewhere else. And it was, I'm happy for him, but very disappointed for me. I'll miss having him around. So I just found out about that earlier today, and that's still kind of weighing on me. But yeah, otherwise, pretty good week. Yeah, Michael, that guy's not going to win any competitions for his singing for sure. So Todd's got some Burley Flake #1 in a 673 KS. Good choice. And Flint Hill Briar, how you doing? Ronnie Ewan, you think I was hacked? Why do you think that, Ronnie? Dry Fly Fisher, how you doing? I've had a couple people on Facebook tell me things like they think my account's been taken over or something. Is that what you're referring to, Ronnie? And if so, please explain it to me because I do not know what it means. I look at the account, everything looks fine. People tell me this, and I go and I ask them to explain it to me, and they don't respond. So I don't know what's going on. Hillbilly Piper's got some Hato's Delight. Good deal. That's some nice stuff. I do like it. There's Kevin Doolin. Good to see you, Kevin. He's got Old Joe Krantz in a 673. Good choice. No, it's vacation happy together when. Gee, Tim, if you're going to plan your weeks, plan them right. Michael thinks he knows where the friend's going. I don't know where the friend's going, to be honest, Michael. I don't think it's Glaxo. I think it's a small company. But he's not allowed to talk about it yet. Something I've never understood, and I've been through it myself, and I know it's true. You are not allowed to talk about where you're going if you're giving a 2-week notice, at least in my part of the world. Harlow Piper's got some GLP's Westminster and an old K Woody. That sounds wonderful. I haven't had Westminster in a while. Only the lonely. Indeed, Tim, indeed. Mad Piper's got an LCS pipe with G&H Dark Flake. Can't beat that. Squib. When I was a little kid, my grandfather worked for a company that made the packaging that pharmaceutical companies use, like when you get a blister pack of pills and you have to pop it out, that kind of stuff. And he would deal with sales reps for pharmaceutical companies all the time and stuff like that. And he was pretty impressed with some of the stuff he heard about the companies. And when I was, a little kid, he would tell me, when you grow up, you got to think about working for one of these companies. And the one that he always talked about was Smith Klein and French, which was in Philadelphia, I believe. SKF. They're not around anymore, but nobody's around anymore. Big Country Briar, how's it going, Cole? Cole's just back from a beer festival food thing. Korean rice pickled vegetable bowl with fried egg on top. Wow. That sounds good, Cole. There's Yornik. How you doing, Yornik? Yeah, Harlow, I think they are worried about other people leaving, but it's not like we're not going to find out either. I don't know, it just seems like an odd thing. Yeah, Flint Hill, I know what you mean. There's that aspect to it too. Oh, is that what you were referring to, Ronnie? Oh, that's all. I did that a month or two ago, and people begged me to never do it again. But there's one person that really enjoys it, so I decided to give it an encore for him. Corporate nonsense. Yeah, well, there's plenty of that to go around. Oh, so Yornik is Kate this evening. Well, good to see you. Insomnia stricken. Sorry to hear about that. Little Piper Todd, how's it going, buddy? Kevin, I feel exactly the same way. I've got a little bit more than that, and I can't imagine what would tempt me away at this point. I'm settled. I'm happy. They treat me well. So yeah, it would take a lot. No, Tim, I couldn't say that. That's got to be one of the worst songs ever written. Of course, it is. It is an excellent song to have stuck in your head for days. Big Dave wants to know what's in Captain Black Platinum. I don't know, Big Dave, but I guarantee you there's no platinum in it. Oh, yes, Cliff, the World Championship of Cheerleading in Orlando. Cliff's daughter was in that. I'm sorry, Pipe Ninja's daughter was in that. There were 9 teams in her team's division, and she came in 4th. Wow. Number 1 team was from Pittsburgh. How about that? Very cool, Cliff. I saw some of the pictures and stuff. It looks like you had a great time. Competition aside, and sounds like she did really well. That is great. It's your birthday, Kate. Well, happy birthday. Do you want me to get the AI guy back to sing happy birthday? Little Piper Todd's asking a question that I don't know how to answer. He's got a couple of cigarettes and he doesn't have a humidor. You must mean cigars, Todd. I wouldn't put them in the freezer. I wouldn't put them in the freezer. If you're gonna take your time with them, like a baggie, and maybe if you can find one of those Bavita packs or something, some Tupperware. A lot of people use Tupperware, but I wouldn't freeze them. Maybe some other folks have some advice on that. And I'm guessing you mean cigars and not cigarettes, because I don't think cigarettes care what you do to them. Kevin is in the most recession-proof industry. I'm curious what that is. Oh, I know what that is, Kevin. Yes, it is. Dry fly fisher, that sometimes happens in my line of work too. It kind of depends on your level within the company. Depends on how much you know, basically. You love that song, Tim? You're a sick man. XJ, how you doing, Simon? Good to see you, buddy. Been a while. And Kevin's birthday is tomorrow. Wow. Birthday Birthdays abound. 4 Dot Shining Sunday. Tim, I don't know. I'm up for 4 Dot Sunday, no question about that. But I don't know if I want to watch The Shining on Sunday during the day, and I don't know. Seems like something I should do late at night and completely alone. But we could talk about it. Okay, no AI for Yorick then. Paul Johnson, how you doing, Paul? Big Dave, what is up with the tornadoes this week? There's been a heck of a lot of them. And it seems like they're coming in. It's like you don't just hear that there's one tornado here or there, but there's like 10 tornadoes or 15 tornadoes. Really something. I know, XJ. I know it's you. Hey, life comes first, buddy, and you're a busy guy. But it's fantastic to see you when you have the time. Dark and snowy night for The Shining, Flint Hill. I don't know if I can hold out for the snow, especially since we didn't actually get any snow this year. I did not have to move snow once this year. It's kind of amazing. It's the first time I remember that happening ever in this area. Your knees bad. Tim, is that from the walking prior to the car? Hope it settles down for you. I know how knee pain can be. Yes, Pipe Ninja. We shouldn't talk about them. They might be drawn to such conversations. Dark, snowy night in a hedge maze. I've not seen the movie yet, but I know enough about it to get that one. Yeah, Flint Hill was a crazy winter for sure. Kevin Twiner's place has had more flood warnings this week. Wow. We'll have to keep Kevin in mind. Todd Munson asking if anyone smokes a Briarworks Cannonball. I've seen them. I don't have one. I don't have any Briarworks pipes, actually. Oh, gosh, Tim, that's bad. I'm sure you know the routine. Ice, heat, anti-inflammatories. Alternate the ice and the heat. That's actually pretty important, at least in my experience. The occasional Clay Piper. Hello. Good to see you tonight, buddy. And there's the smooth Piper, Peter. How you doing? Happy Friday to you, sir. Cannonball run. Maybe we should do a run on cannonballs. Everybody get one. Need glasses for this one. Unix says they've got Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Extra cheap parody of 70s horror shows. Oh, cool. That sounds good. Oh, you need the sleeve and the brace, Tim. Yeah. Mine never got that bad. I mean, I used to wear the, the compression thing on it, but never actually needed a brace, but probably someday. New collection from Peterson called the Junior Pipe. Some of them look like mini Bing's favorites. Haven't seen that, Kevin. Sounds interesting. So I got me a beverage tonight. Nothing as weird as last week. I would make you guess, but I don't want to hold you in suspense. So, and look, it's the Phillies edition. Not that I'm very proud of the Phillies right now, but oh boy, XJ's got 2 cats now. One of the turkeys found it in the blackberries? Wow. Yeah, Voodoo, I wish I could say I'm drinking it just for you, but I'm not. I'm drinking it because it's wonderful. No, Big Day, but honestly, I don't know how I could boycott Bud because I think that's one of the few beers I wouldn't drink even if it was free. And that's always been the case. Bud and Coors Light. Well, Coors in general. But one of my brother-in-laws was a big Coors Light guy, so every family gathering had to have Coors Light, and I couldn't stand it. A question from Dry Fly Fisher 11, interesting one. Any pipers have young kids, and if so, when do you find time to enjoy your pipe? Because he doesn't smoke around the kids, and he's just curious about that. So anybody have advice on that? I just have the dogs, and they don't care if I smoke. Urinix says drinking some Tarragon soda, and it is awesome. That is interesting. A little weird, but I like the flavor of Tarragon in moderation. I'm trying to imagine what Tarragon soda would taste like. Oh, it was a kitten that the turkeys found. Okay. That makes more sense, actually. Michael says he only has 1 cat because no man can serve 2 masters. Oh, Flint Hill's cellaring chest is just about filled up. That's a good place to be. Now you just got to go buy another cellaring chest. They stack, You can stack them on top of one another. Rick Spence, Sam Adams Cold Snap. I don't know if I've had a cold snap, but I'm not terribly bothered by Sam Adams beer, to be honest. I'd like to be because it's from Boston, but I can't. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that was he was always on in the early days of the live stream. He was from Boston, and we used to tease one another mercilessly about Boston versus Philadelphia. And I just made that comment thinking he would hear it, but of course he won't because he hasn't been around in years. Piper on the 45, just leaving work, so lurking. Well, drive safely, buddy. You can get Yingling in Kansas now. Fantastic, Flint Hill. It's a good point, Pipe Ninja. So Pipe Ninja says that lots of kids smoke early in the morning. I don't think that's what he actually meant, but that's how I read it. He smokes early in the morning because he's got lots of kids around. Smoke early in the morning, that's when the kids do it. Couch is smoking his 4-dot tonight after work. Yeah, weekends are made for 4-dots, I think. I'm laughing because it truly is a wonderful pipe, and I really enjoy smoking it. But Couch and I think Tim to some extent, have become a bit snobbish about our 4-dots, and some of us have done hills. But snobbish in a, a fun way. We're not seriously snobs. Modelo is good. Good stuff there, Peter. And Yornik says, I haven't had a beer in ages, but Czech beer is amazing. Don't know if I've had Czech beer. Yeah, Couch, there's a rare XJ appearance. Pre-war, baby. Oh, so you've included the 4-dot now, Couch. It's not just the Dunhills that you. So we got to come up with a new nickname for you then. We were calling him CKD or CDK. I can't remember which. Yeah, Voodoo. It's offensive all by itself. Yeah. You know, I'm not joking about this, Voodoo. When I bought a 12 pack of that last week at the grocery store, and I was trying to decide what to buy because I've got a couple of Guinness and a couple of those Sweet Baby Jesus porters, but they're just too heavy, and I wanted something light. And I'm walking along, and I thought, oh, I'll get a Yingling. I'll get a pack of Yingling. That'll make Voodoo happy. So I honestly thought about you in the grocery store as I was buying the beer. Ah, yes, Michael. There's certainly some good Belgian beers. Heavy on the alcohol content, too. Oh, Rick missed out on a 4-dot at Briarville. Keep looking, Rick. You'll find one. But, there's plenty of fantastic pipes out there. I don't ever suggest a particular factory or maker or anything. I've got pipes I like. I've got pipes how can I put this? I don't have a pipe I don't enjoy smoking. And I've got everything from 80-year-old estate pipes to corn cobs to Savinellis to now this 4-dot Sassini, and I enjoy them all. So, you know, it's not the pipe. It's certainly not what you spend on the pipe or how hard it is to find it. Yes, Voodoo, your work is done. I don't know, Todd. It's hard to find those specific year Dunhills, especially in the 60s. I've thought I don't own a Dunhill. I've had Dunhills in the past and gotten rid of them. Not because they weren't good pipes, but just because I couldn't justify them. Uh, and I think sometimes, oh, a Berthier Dunhill would be nice. That, you know, every pipe smoker needs a Berthier. And I'll go and I'll look for them, and they're hard to find. Being in the 60s as well. So it's just anything prior to like the 80s or so, it just seems to be harder to find. If anybody has a source for older Dunhills that you wouldn't mind sharing. What does that say? Good try, Tim. Genesee Cream Ale. My God, do they still make that, Big Dave? Oh, Couch, I've been lobbying for chickens for years, and I've just given up. I know Elva would love to have some chickens around. My dogs would love it. No, Couch, no, please don't anybody send me anything. That's it's funny, Couch, but really, really don't want that. Genesee is down the street from you. Wow. So they are still in business then. I didn't know that. Kevin Doolan says his next two purchases will be another 320. It's the last one he promises, and a Bing's. Both good pipes. Never liked the 320 shape myself, but I've got one that I've never smoked, which is kind of silly, but Tramper Scott drank a lot of Jenny Cream Ale back in the day. Yeah, I don't know if I ever had it, to be honest, but I remember it when I was younger, and those were let's just say you'd often find cans on street corners. No, Couch, no. Andrew Sirigliano, happy Friday to you, sir. Good to see you. Well, Yornik, that's a good argument. Maybe I can try that on the missus and see if chicken poop fertilizer changes her mind. I don't think it will. They have a restaurant. Wow. That's really cool, Couch. Was it Jenny that made the was it 12 horse ale or 4 horse ale, something like that? Oh no, Tim, no. Far too early in the live stream to go in that direction. Devil's Peak beer from Cape Town. I think there might be more beers to try than tobaccos to try. Or they make a Bock, Christmas Bock. That's nice. So they made the 12 horse ale, but it was for another company. Flint Hill, I don't know if you're serious that Rolling Rock is a good beer. No, you got quotations there. Okay. Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker. How you doing, buddy? Doing great here. Hope you're well, my friend. Saw a really cute picture of the little blue collar pipe smoker the other day on Instagram. Man, he's grown quickly. Not familiar with Bogues or Cascade, XJ. I laugh about Rolling Rock because Rolling Rock was this cheap, like, we used to make fun of Rolling Rock back in the day. I believe it's from Latrobe here in Pennsylvania. And it was just considered, slightly more beer than water. And all of a sudden it became this trendy, yuppie drink. And we used to laugh at that. The people that remembered it from then. So whenever I see Rolling Rock, I get a little chuckle out of it. Oh, there you go. Voodoo says that Tim Garrity, the president of the Chicago Pipe Collectors Club, sells vintage restored Dunhills. It might be worth checking him out. I forget who it was that was asking. Poor little guy indeed, Eric. He is growing like a weed. Oh, that is cool, actually. A lot of microbreweries starting in Tasmania. Yeah, I got to get out more because I just go to the grocery store these days for beer, and they've got a reasonable selection now that they've started selling it. For years in Pennsylvania, you couldn't buy beer anywhere but a beer distributor. And the craft brews and stuff have really taken off, and you see a lot more of them now than you used to, but it's still not the selection that you would get at some of the more specialized uh, beer distributors here in Pennsylvania. And I just got to browse a bit more in those places. Restored pipes brought from the dark side using dark magic. They're not resurrected. Yeah, PBR is another one, Michael. Yeah, yeah, dry fly fisher. It has gotten trendy for reasons I don't understand. Kevin Dolan says his father-in-law used to drink PBR. I don't know if I've told this story before. My wife had an uncle, Uncle Bobby, who wonderful guy. I got to know him pretty well when I was living in Pittsburgh. He kind of befriended me. Uh, terrible alcoholic, to be honest. Always, always had a six-pack of beer with him. Like he would walk from his house. We were living in an apartment, and he was like half a block away, and he would walk carrying a six-pack by the ring, and however many beers were on it. That's what he was drinking at that time. He didn't go anywhere without it. And his beer of choice was Schaefer. And I don't know how widespread Schaefer was, if it was just a Pennsylvania thing or if it was nationwide, but what I remember best about Schaefer was when I was a kid, their slogan was that Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. And even back then I thought, that doesn't say much for the beer, does it? Hello there, sailor. Cigar and beer night, indeed. Hoyo, Rothschild, and Beck's. Sounds good. XJ says the only American beer he's tried is Red's Apple Ale. I haven't had that one, XJ, but there's a lot of them. Well, I wasn't trying to say there was anything wrong with PBR. I was more commenting on the fact that it became trendy. I will say there's something wrong with Rolling Rock, though. Lone Star Beer is the PBR of Texas. Tim's composing. Better than the other way around, Tim. Eric, please don't send me a few cases of Bud Light. I really don't want that. You remember that, Harlow? Oh, Tim's got a Schaefer opener. Cool. And Couch drank it in college. Okay, so it must have been more widely known. Oh, they're playing old beer commercials on Radio Classics. That is cool, Michael. I haven't listened to that in a long time. Schaefer was the beer of the Mets, said? That's another reason not to drink it. Iron City, I drank a lot of that in Pittsburgh. You're right, Eric. Before you came on, I was saying it's not possible for me to boycott Bud because I don't know how to do less than not drink it, which is what I've been doing my whole life. Oh, it was one of your grandmother's openers, Tim. That's cool. Schlitz malt liquor. Yes, Gary. Don't say beer, say bull. The Schlitz malt liquor bull. Pipe Ninja, I think, is setting us up for a joke here. What brand of beer is the favorite of Canadian lagers? Or was that the joke? I just realized that could be the joke. Couch, that's pretty hardcore. I'm not surprised that tourists drink Foster's because Foster's it's not a good beer, Ron. The only thing good about it is it comes in giant cans. Mickey's Big Mouths. Yes, Paul. I remember those. But from what I see on the late night infomercials these days, it was better than drinking the water there, huh? Miller High Life. Yes, Peter. That would be my what would you call it? I mean, we used to call them domestics, but I guess now with all the craft brews, they're domestic too. But yeah, I hate to call it a cheap beer, but Valentine, yes. Ham's beer is another one, Gary. Lord Hogarth bringing up the lumberjack song. Love that song. I was watching some Monty Python actually last weekend. It popped up on YouTube, and it was the Bruce's sketch where the new member of the philosophy department is introduced to the Bruces, and that's got some of the funniest lines in it. Wow, Couch, that's yeah. Black Swan Lager is what the Australians drank, says Voodoo. Haven't had that one either. Sapporo, yes. It's an interesting beer. I never had the can. I only had Sapporo out like in restaurants and stuff. I never had a can. It was uncrushable. Australians give Fosters to their enemies, says Paul. I am finished up with the first round of Haunted Bookshop. Sorry, I moved my chair over and I got too far to reach now. So I'll have to fix that. I don't know why, but 5 minutes before I have to start the show, I decided to rearrange things, and never works. I'm going to switch to this pipe here. This is a Bari. It's a pot. Nice big bowl on this. Actually, got this pipe from Danny Shore. Good old Danny. I miss that guy. You know, we've got such a generous community that when somebody stands out for generosity, it really means something. And Danny stood out for his generosity. And I am loading this with Haunted Bookshop. I'm not in the mood for anything fancy tonight. Voodoo's frantically typing. That's why he picked the Yingling. I know. Good for you, Kevin. Good for you. Dry fly fish, are you taking off? You have a great evening as well. St. Pauli girl. Anyone ever drink $5 pitchers of natural light at Paradise Park Trailer Resort in downtown Nashville? You know you just hit rock bottom if you ever have. And then he says he's just kidding in case any of you have. I have not done that, but I have drunk quite a bit of natural light at the beach in Ocean City. I don't know why it's popular there, but it's popular, and there's usually a special on about it, and I'm not really looking for a premium beer in that situation, so why not? When in Rome, as Eric said. Patrick Grant, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. That's nice. Kevin toasting couch with ginger ale. Good stuff. And wow, Kevin's turning 45 tomorrow and running 5Ks, 8 minutes a mile. Very cool. That is fantastic, Kevin. Christian K. Pipes is 34 and runs 0 miles. I know the feeling, buddy. And Pipe Ninja as well, 1 year. Congratulations, guys. It's wonderful, it really is. You know, I make a big deal about the drink here just because to me, I mean, you don't see this side of it, but it's pretty much the only drink I have most of the time during the week. Sometimes my wife and I go out and I'll have a beer, but it's rare. So I'm pretty much having one drink a week, and that's why I kind of highlight it because it's actually something special for me. But yeah, we shouldn't make too much out of it. Lurker Troy runs to the bathroom sometimes. It's probably a good thing you do, Troy. I actually used to run. Back when I was in graduate school, I started running, partly for exercise, but partly just stress reduction. And I really enjoyed it. But I stopped when we moved to Atlanta, just because there was too much stress to even try to reduce at that time in my life, and never, you know, my health went to pot then. It wasn't great before, but I enjoyed it. I mean, there were a couple of very memorable runs, and I was not somebody that would be doing a 5K. I mean, I was running a mile or two. But it felt good. It felt good when it was over. Kind of like a roller coaster. I'm seeing some funny running jokes here. Yeah, Andrew. Ladon was another one of those guys for sure. And that's great that you got something to remember him by. Blue collar pipe smoker runs every day, every time the ice cream truck passes. Ha! We had the ice cream truck came by here one evening this week, and I haven't heard it in a long, long time. And I just heard the song playing, and I turned to my wife and said, "Give me $1." Uh, I didn't actually go to the ice cream truck. I just thought it was funny. There you go, Michael. That's a good stress reduction method for sure. Yeah, it's true, Kevin. It's not the intensity of the movement, it's just movement. And it makes a big difference. It really does. Voodoo runs to the time clock. Ice cream trucks die early, the music does them. I can't imagine having to drive that thing around for 8 hours listening to that music. Been thinking now that the weather is better, I'm gonna start walking again. I haven't been for a while because I was having so much trouble with my knees in the past year. But I got those hyaluronic acid injections back in October, and those things are amazing. I mean, I have had no pain since then, and I don't want to tempt fate. I'm not going to try to run or anything, but walking is good, and the motion is good for the joint and everything. So just gotta find the time for it, really. That's impressive, Paul. I'm always impressed by people that completed a marathon, even just one. That's a commitment. You had a good humor truck, Michael. That's cool. Oh, that was nice of him, Scott. Good to know there's some quality ice cream men out there. Marathon at Greenbrier in the morning. Yeah, she would love that, Cole. Gotta work that out. But she's got my travel plans so well laid out for the rest of the summer. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even try to plan anything. No, Gary, that's not a sport. You have to have a ball in order for it to be a sport. Unless it's soccer, that doesn't count. Tim, putting the fork down helps, but it's more complicated than that. And I know you're just teasing, but it's it's not just how much you eat, it's what you eat. It's what you do when you're not eating. It's how you think about food. It's a complicated process. Yeah, those ultra marathon guys are crazy, Flint Hill. I don't know how people could do that. XJ's gonna sue his cutlery. No, Tim, unfortunately, pucks do not count. That's why I specified a ball. Intermittent fasting is definitely helpful, Tim. Definitely. Voodoo started as Zempic. Is that just for the weight loss voodoo, or is there diabetes as well? It's actually a really good drug for diabetes. And it does have that interesting weight loss side effect. You got a new hippie lighter couch. I missed it. For both. Okay, Voodoo. Well, wish you luck with it, buddy. Well, Piper said I didn't say that, but you know what? I'll give it to you. We'll let the ballroom count. Why not? I just threw the ball thing in there because I knew it would annoy Tim. Yeah, I know, Voodoo. I know about the shortage. My wife's actually taking Ozempic for diabetes, and she's fortunately been able to get it. But make more for goodness sakes. I mean, I don't understand the problem with these things. I would expect the lighter is groovy, Yornik. I mean, how could it not be? I mean, just being owned by Couch will, lend that property to the lighter, but being it's a hippie lighter, it must be. No, bare knuckle boxing is beating the heck out of one another. It's not a sport. Yes, Michael, the two go hand in hand for sure. Losing weight definitely helps with the diabetes. There you go, Neil Day. Beer pong does indeed count. I used to have this complicated definition of a sport just to annoy people because um, I didn't like hockey. I've never liked hockey. Don't get me wrong. I know hockey is very athletic and it requires skill and all that. It's just not something I enjoy watching. And I had friends that were big hockey fans, and I said, "No, it can't be a sport. It's got to have a ball." And that, well, does that mean that golf is a sport? And I know people think golf is a sport, but I couldn't allow that. So it's no, it has to have a team. And so I had like a list of checks that had to be taken for it to be a sport. And yeah. No, no, Tim. Actually, bowling is one of the king of sports because you not only get to use a ball and you can have teams, but you also get to drink beer while you play it. That's interesting, Flint Hill. Bare knuckle boxing might have been safer because you couldn't hit too hard or you break your hand. That is very interesting. Hey, Jim PM, good to see you. Really, there's a bare knuckle boxing channel. That's interesting. I didn't know it was still a thing. Michael Case saw polo in an inside arena once and it was very exciting. Now I can imagine that. Curling's a tough one, Flint Hill. I'd like to make curling a sport, but if I do that, I'm going to have to give a nod to hockey and I just won't do it. You guys know I'm just kidding about this, right? I have no right to decide what is and isn't a sport. I'm just having fun. Another benefit of bowling, Tim. Yeah, the beer frame's an important part of it, Rick. Good point, XJ. Darts get you both the teams and the beer, but there's no ball. Sailor likes croquet. Never played croquet. Ah, Kevin, the things that went through my head when you wrote that. It was an innocent typo. He said, I think Scotch led to the invention of GIF, which he then corrected to golf. But before I saw the correction, I'm thinking, what did Scotch have to do with the image format GIF? And then I thought maybe you meant Jif peanut butter, and then I saw the correction. I'm telling you, this is a bad place sometimes. Yes, Couch. I remember XJ's chicken wishing you a happy birthday. That was one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. Horses kept drowning. Oh, Michael. Yes, Patrick, cricket definitely counts. And it's probably good that there's a distinct lack of beer there, XJ. Basketball is a rough sport, Jim. Speaking of basketball, I'm not a basketball fan really. I mean, I kind of casually follow it, but I don't really watch games. Uh, my brother is a huge. It's funny. My I really love baseball. I mean, baseball to me is if there was no other sport but baseball, I'd be perfectly happy. I enjoy football, but I do not like basketball. And I can't stand hockey. And again, nothing against folks that like hockey. It's just me personally saying this. Um, my brother is the exact opposite. And he'll watch football and baseball, but he loves hockey and basketball. And I don't know if I've said this before here, but my brother is autistic. He's my younger brother. He's yeah, so he's got some issues with social communication, that sort of thing. But he'll talk to me on the phone. I usually talk to him for about an hour every week, and he just loves talking about basketball and hockey. And I'll say, oh no, I didn't see that. And he said, yeah, you're not really a fan of sports, are you? I said, no, I'm a fan of sports. I just he can be very blunt at times. So last night I was texting back and forth with him because the Sixers are in the playoffs. They were playing. Who the heck were they playing? I don't even know who they were playing. That's how little I pay attention to this. But he's really excited about this, so he sends me a text. Are you watching the Sixers? And I thought, well, I don't want to let him down. So I said, oh yes, I am. And then I put the game on the phone. You get the live score updates, and I spent because it was already the beginning of the third quarter. So I spent the rest of the time sitting out on the patio smoking pipes and texting back and forth with my brother about a basketball game that I wasn't actually watching. But he didn't know that. So. But both good choices, really. Yeah, the players have gotten quite bigger, haven't they, Lord Hogarth? Really, XJ? Aerobatics, that's cool. I'm a proud Eagles fan, Voodoo. I don't know. So I don't like hockey or basketball because I'm an Eagles fan? I I don't get it. I could make a comment about your team's last season and their lack of quarterback, but I won't. Just kidding. What in the world is Springbok's cap? Never heard of that, Yornik. Secretariat was the greatest athlete of all time, says Harlow Piper. I don't think many of us could beat him in a race, that's for sure. All right, Kevin, you have a great weekend too, buddy. Yeah, the Hoosiers like their basketball for sure, Jim. The New York Packers, yeah. That's right, Voodoo. All right, Tim's picking on NASCAR now. NASCAR isn't a sport due to only left turns and the crowd drinks the beer. Phil Rivera, how you doing, Phil? Oh, it's a rugby team. Gotcha, Yornik. Thank you. So, Tim, I wasn't going to do this to you, but I saw our buddy Corvette Jim He or what does he go by now? He's got a different name, but you know who I mean. He put up on Instagram this little, these little text things that people post on Instagram, and it was the day after the Kentucky Derby, and he's it just read, from now on Kentucky, or I just realized Kentucky Derby is actually Amish NASCAR. I liked that. Both can be very exciting in their moments. I'm not somebody that's going to watch, 3 hours of NASCAR, but oh, good fun, Phil. Stressing on machining an Army mount taper shank cap. Yee. Autopsy of Secretariat revealed a huge heart, the horse's version of Einstein's brain. How about that? Yes, Tim, yes, you did pick the winner. Although I have to say, my random pick based on absolutely nothing was in the lead for a good chunk of that race. There's a movie about the Springboks. Very cool, Yornik. I know nothing about rugby, but yeah, I've watched a little bit of it. It looks like a fun sport to watch. It did fizzle out, Tim. I admit it. It fizzled out. Yeah, the Amish can have that effect on you, Jim PM. Definitely. That's true, Michael. Hockey on TV is nothing like being ringside. And Paul Johnson says that Top Fuel Dragsters in person is really cool. And that's so I've been to Sixers games. I've been to Flyers games. I've never been to a NASCAR, but I've been to horse racing, and they are all much, much better when you're actually there. Yeah, I enjoy a hockey or basketball game if I'm actually sitting there in the arena watching it. It's a very different experience. Yeah, it is true with most sports, Harlow Piper, I'm sure. Um, but for some reason, when it comes to baseball, I could watch it. I can just listen to it on the radio, and I'm just as excited by it as if I'm sitting in the stadium. Uh, but there's a I might have said this before, but within walking distance of my house, there's a little league field, and I really want to go and sit in the bleachers and watch these kids play because I would just enjoy it. I like baseball that much. I'll watch Little League. When the Little League World Series is on, I'll watch it. And I don't. It's not like I get caught up in the teams or anything. It's just I enjoy the strategy of the game when they don't destroy it. And I wish I could just go and watch, but I just feel weird about it because of the way the world is today. A guy sitting there watching a bunch of little kids play is probably not viewed kindly by the gaggle of parents that are there loading them into the minivan at the end of the night. There's an Amish guy comes into Lowe's, Tim. I don't think he'd go with the leaf filter, but be interesting to see. I imagine it would be difficult to make the ice in those places, Sailor. I like it on the radio too, Harlow Piper, and I think it's because I grew up with baseball on the radio. I mean, we'd watch it on TV often enough, but you know, in the summertime, my grandparents had a summer house in Wildwood, and we'd go there, and we never sat in the house and watched TV. We were always at the beach or out in the yard or something like that. So it was a radio thing, and I enjoy it most when it's on the radio. Jim PM's going for some golden extra in his bent pot. Very nice. Yeah, Michael, I used to do that, turn the sound off and put the radio on. Uh, yeah, I like the local announcers better, but there's a delay now, so it doesn't work anymore. I could see sumo being fun to watch, Yornik. I could imagine that. That's great, Rick. Brother's little league teammate's father was a firefighter, and he'd bring the truck to the game when he had station duty. That is fantastic. Yeah, and you can do things while you listen to baseball. You're right, Harlow. Oh, I've never been bored watching a baseball game, Sailor. Never. Even those 20 some inning marathons. I've been tired. I've stayed up way too late, but strikes put me off for a bit, Piper said. Put me off for a bit, indeed. Yeah, he did a good job with that baseball series, Flint Hill. I remember that. And like most of Ken Burns' stuff, it's part of the story. You know, he's not, from what I've seen, he's not the best historian in terms of accuracy, but he picks the interesting stuff. Oh yeah, the day-night double headers. They were always cool, Patrick. I lived really close to what was then Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, so we went to a lot of games there, and they called them twilight doubleheaders back in the 70s. Also went to a few, you're probably not allowed to say this anymore, but businessman specials. Weekday games are a rarity now. Used to be a lot more of them. I mean, I remember kids sneaking radios into the classrooms and stuff. Hey, Sailor, you have a great weekend too, buddy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tramper Scott, have a good weekend. Thanks much for joining us. Yeah, Voodoo, don't get me started on the pitch clock. Just wasn't necessary. And it is interesting the beer sales got extended, yeah. Oh yeah, Tim, the attendance is certainly better in the evening games. But there's so many baseball games in a season. I guess before money became the only reason for its existence, they were a bit looser with that. I don't know. Congratulations, Yornik. I never find cool stuff like that. That's a snack I could have. We've got snack problems here in the house. My wife tries not to snack, because of the diabetes, and I'm not a big snacker, but I do occasionally like something, and but I can't buy a big bag of potato chips or something like that because it tempts her and she'll eat them. So one of the things that I ate a lot of uh, for the past couple years is pork rinds because I like them and she doesn't, and they're crunchy and all works out well. But I kind of went off them. I bought a bag that I haven't opened, and it's been sitting up there for probably about 6 months now, and I just haven't wanted to open it. And every time I go to the store and think about buying something else, I think, well, I got to eat those pork rinds first, and then I look at them and like, I don't really want to open them. So I guess it's a good thing. It keeps me from snacking. But a pack of wasabi nuts would be just fine. Yeah, things just tend to taste better at the ballpark, Jim. Huh, my video is frozen. I wonder if I'm still live. Oh, I'm moving again. Oh, Tim, that's where it went. Now you know to look there first next time. Sunflower seed kernels. They're good, Patrick. That was nice of you, Armchair Piper, getting your mom a new radio like that. Yeah, hard boiled eggs are good, Michael, but you got to make them. I don't snack that often, so it's not really something I want to plan for. I just want to have something I can open, and I don't know about the Atkins diet, Jim. They're high in protein, low in carbohydrates, so it's probably, but they're also very high in fat. So unless you're doing some sort of ketogenic diet, they're probably not a healthy choice. But I wasn't eating them for health. I was eating them because I liked them, and my wife doesn't. So never had. Oh, wasabi peas. Yes, yes, Tim, those are good. I read it as peanuts. I've never had wasabi peanuts, but the peas are good. Wow, Flint Hill, that's an impressive fast and an impressive last meal. I can't do that. I've tried. I mean, I don't normally eat after about 8 o'clock at night, and I don't normally eat breakfast. So I do routinely do a, what is that, 16 hour? Um, so like an intermittent fast kind of thing. And I can even get by without lunch if I'm busy and I just don't have the time. But when it gets to be about 5, 6 o'clock at night, I've got to eat something. It just becomes an obsession with me. I don't think I could do a 92 hour. That's really impressive. That's cool, Michael. Some of the sisters in grade school would update. I don't think I had any sisters that would have done that, but there were one or two lay teachers that did it. I recall because the Phillies made a couple of playoff runs when I was in grade school. Are you saying you practice it, Jim PM, ritually? It's not something I do. I personally do on purpose. It just kind of I fell into it because I can't eat after 8 o'clock, or I just have all kinds of issues like with acid reflux and stuff like that, and I'm just not a big breakfast guy. 24 hours is still impressive too. Paul Johnson, thanks for joining us, buddy. You have a great weekend too. Don't eat after 6, says Yornik. That'll work. It definitely does clear your mind, Jim. Yeah, Todd Barstow, that's the problem. I mean, if I'm up late, I'm gonna go for a snack. I don't know why that is. It just after about 10 o'clock, if I'm still awake, I'm starting to think about snacking. That's true, Phil. It's not. It's a luxury to be able to call it a fast for sure. Well, folks, I just realized we're coming to an end here, and I still have quite a bit of beer to drink. So we will finish this up. Tim, you're special. Robert Miller, you enjoy your weekend too, buddy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yes, Michael, eat when you're hungry and drink when you're dry, and the moonshine won't kill you, you'll live till you die. Wonderful song. Thank you, Patrick. No, I'm not going to chug a lug, Gary. I'm just going to drink like nobody's watching. Well, folks, we're just about done here, so I will say good night. Thank you all for joining me. I really enjoyed it. Great conversation as always, and great to have so many folks show up. You're welcome, Mushroom Leg. Thanks. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. So we'll be back next week with whatever this is. I'll be back Sunday with a video. So you all have a fantastic weekend, a great week ahead, and we will see you real soon. And I still haven't fixed my hotkeys, so this is going to take longer than I'd like. Take care, folks.